Hey there, fellas. Remember this guy right here? I ripped around in this car and threw it into reverse at various speeds, all the way up to 100 Ks. And now the gearbox is really not feeling great. It wasn't even able to make it back here under its own power from the test track. We actually had to tow it. I mean, the engine ran and the brakes were still working, so I was able to run the hazards without worrying about draining the battery. Now here's the thing. While the Dexron transmission fluid is still cold, the car is able to move around under its own power, albeit poorly. But once it gets hot, you can bang the engine off the limiter and the car is just gonna stand in place. Like, no torque is gonna be making it to the wheels. Anyway, here's what I'd like to try. I'm looking to pour in a thicker oil. I guess we'll start with some regular motor oil that has high viscosity. We'll drive around on that, and the idea is that the thicker oil will make for a bit more pressure. More clamping force on the clutch packs, well, hypothetically anyway. Let's see how this actually plays out. We'll start with motor oil, and if that doesn't get us far, in that case we'll go buy some WD40. We'll pour that in and head out for a drive. Who knows, it might even work. So if you haven't been in our merch shop for a while, we have added a bunch of cool new stuff. Such as these handmade wallets and holders made out of genuine leather. It's a must-have for any dude who needs a reliable and convenient place to keep his documents. We also have an assortment of t-shirts, caps, and key fobs with a fresh design. There is a lot to cover, so better you head on over to our shop and check out what we got. For anybody who places an order right now, I'll slip in a card with my picture and my personal autograph. Make sure to use PayPal to pay for your order, so that it goes through with no issues. Add something new to your collection of Garage 54 merch, and receive a card with my autograph. So head on over to our online shop, and the link, of course, is going to be in the description. Running an automatic transmission on WD40. Originally uploaded in 2019, translation and voiceover by BMI Russian. Okay, we've drained the Dexron and siphoned out anything that was left. So we did our best to empty the box. And right here we have some 10W40 motor oil, which definitely has a higher viscosity compared to Dexron. We'll pour it in, allow it to displace the Dexron, drain it once again, and fill the gearbox to the brim with motor oil. And we'll see what happens. What do you think is gonna happen? It'll drive. Okay, we've poured in the oil, it's all good. Let's see what's up. The engine is loaded up. Though there is load on the engine, it didn't really make much of a difference. It drives. It even reverses, but only after 3 grand. It's alright driving forward. Better than it used to be. It's pretty eager to drive forward, amazingly enough. Doesn't want to propel the car in the opposite direction, though. So that's pretty much the same as it used to be, but it's much better going forward. I better warm up the oil and see whether things get better or worse, because the car simply wouldn't move on hot Dexron. You can rev it all the way to the limiter, and the car isn't even gonna move. It's just gonna stand in place. Well, we are moving. What we don't want is to get into a situation where we'll have to back up. Oh, we're doing pretty well, actually. The car is doing great in drive, but on the way back from the test track, we got stranded. Like, the car wouldn't even move, while the engine was banging off the limiter. The engine was at redline and the car was stationary. We're doing alright. It's been a while. The revs are still a bit high, though. The gearbox is quite obviously in subpar condition. You can definitely feel that something's wrong with it. It does accelerate when I press the gas, though. Quite well, actually. Okay, so I've gone to the store and bought some of this WD40 oil. There's some weird writing I can't fathom. Anyway, Let's head back to base. We have poured in oil with even higher viscosity, some T8017, and we really don't know what to expect. Let me just remove this fancy hood prop, close the hood itself, and head out. Put some heat into the oil, see how it behaves. Starting the car. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is much better. It reverses quite happily. Well, I mean... No, it no longer does. Why did it do that the first time, though? It drives forward well. I'm gonna head out to town. Here we go. Everything's alright. Now I do have to warm everything up, including the oil. At which point, we'll learn the truth. It's accelerating quite well indeed. I'm not noticing any flares. It's as if the gearbox is fully functional. So far in drive, it's moving nicely. There we are. Now we got flaring. Hopefully I can make it up this hill. I really need to. Wouldn't want to get stranded. There we go. It's only driving uphill when I go over 4 grand. Yeah, it only starts to move after 4,000 RPM. Yeah, this really isn't a lot of fun. So apparently the thick oil didn't do much for the gearbox. As soon as it warmed up, things went sour. Hello. Let me just hop onto the side of the road and call in a flatbed. Okay, so here's what's up. We thought that the thicker fluid would render the same effect as inside an engine, make for higher pressure, better operation, because the assumption was that the pressure wasn't enough to clamp down the clutch packs, and that's why the transmission was slipping. But as a matter of fact, that doesn't quite appear to be the case. Now, I'm no automatic transmission expert, but this is something I really wanted to try. So after we brought this car back, we all had a laugh, and the guys suggested we try using something with lower viscosity. And what we found was some WD40 and Valera. We've got a canister of each. Now you might remember that video where we tried to kill a Honda motor by filling it with Valera, but that actually had the opposite effect. So instead of the WD40, I'm gonna try the Valera, and we'll see what happens.
Valera – это мастер-смазка от компании ВМП Авто. Она проникает в резьбовые соединения, смазывает и преобразовывает ржавчину. Valera поможет не только в гараже, а еще и дома, а также и на даче.
Okay, we've poured it in, we're looking good. Wait, who drove the car? Why is the fuel warning light on? It's a joke. Here goes nothing. I think it loaded up. And it's even moving. Oh man, I can feel it twitching about. And it just gave me a kick. It backs up better than it drives forward. We have engagement. It is unstable. Okay, so it made it back. But you really have to rev its nuts off. You know what this is similar to? Before, it ceased to move when the oil got warm. So it was doing the same exact thing. So when the fluid became runny, it would do the same thing. It's much happier to back up, though. Well, it used to be anyway. Oh, that was a massive hit. You see that? Well, it reverses very nicely. Must have flushed something out. Yeah, it's confidently backing up. Nothing like when we were using motor oil. When I couldn't even get over a bump. I needed a run-up. You need to bring the revs up to 6 to move. Far out. Like, what the... Reverse works well, though. Tell us in the comments if you know what we could have flushed out over there. And that's a wrap. Oh, wait. I'll just leave it here. Okay, guys, so after we threw the box into reverse at high speed a few times, well, you see what's up. It is dead. And my attempts to use fluid with higher or lower viscosity, they didn't help either. The transmission refused to work just the same. Though it did become more eager to back up when we poured in the Valera. That's really the only change we saw. Now I would love to have a look at the internals, see what sort of condition they're in. So we're gonna go remove the gearbox, tear it apart, and see what exactly is broken. It's actually all fairly simple. Here we have the dismantled gearbox, and this is the clutch pack. You see what happened to it? Not only are they burned, they've also been warped and horribly overheated. The black coloration tells us that these are toast. So obviously it'll be slipping and you'll have piss-poor gearbox operation. Right, what else? The car is a RAV4, and this is the planetary gear. As you can plainly see, I'm literally holding the axis and the gear. And that's all supposed to be in there. One of the gears in there is missing. So this is really bad. When stuff like this breaks, you know that something went horribly wrong. And over here I have the fuel pump. If you know what it's supposed to look like, well, check this out. See how badly worn it is? There was so much filth in here that the pump, well, it was doing something, as in it was generating pressure. However, when it's this badly worn, it's not going to give you the right pressure, what it was intended to by the manufacturer. Oh yeah, by the way, there's something else I want to show you. That's another clutch pack, which also has a lot of burn marks. Obviously, these rings have been severely warped. Hey, I mean, no surprise. In any case, these are badly burned. But this one, for some strange reason, looks like it's brand new. I have no idea why that is. Apparently, this is the one that engaged reverse. That said, the gearbox... it's like 90% decimated. The planetary gear set is particularly bad. If the axis was broken, I mean... that's serious. And you have the overheated clutch packs. Also, check out this ring, which is all stretched out. It's pretty much on the verge of disintegration at this point. This here is oil and fuel-resistant rubber. Yet for some unknown reason, this ring is also thoroughly thrashed. And that's about it. Now it's a matter of replacing all of this. I don't see the point in buying a used gearbox, which can easily turn out to be in similar condition. It's not like you can look inside and see what's wrong with it without tearing it apart, which is why we've decided to rebuild this one. We'll replace everything, reinstall the box, and it should be good to drive. Well guys, we fixed the gearbox. The car is happily scooting along. The gears and the rubber bits are all brand new. So are the clutch packs, as well as the transmission fluid. The car drives excellent. I'd say this experiment was quite successful. If the gearbox decided to tap out, you are not going to save it by pouring in higher viscosity fluids. Doesn't matter what you try. It's just not going to function anymore. And that's all I got for you. Watch us, subscribe, send in your suggestions, comment, give us a thumbs up. All right, catch you later.